Namo Buddhaya and a very warm welcome, dear Dharma friends, to our Friday Dharma sharing sessions under our Dhammarathana lecture series again. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Brother Eric and I will be your host for today. We are privileged to have with us Bhante Dhammarathana from Sri Lanka as our speaker for today. Let us now bring Bhante Dhammarathana online. And welcome to our Facebook live page, Bhante. Let me do a short introduction on Bhante Dhammarathana. Bhante I Dhammarathana was ordained as a monk in 1994 and he received his Upasampada higher ordination in 2007. Bhante is currently the senior lecturer at the faculties of Buddhist Studies at the Buddhist and Pali University of Sri Lanka. Bhante has also the Bachelor of Art in Buddhist Philosophy, first class honor from the Buddhist and Pali University Sri Lanka, a Master of Arts in Buddhist Studies from the Postgraduate Institute of Pali and Buddhist Studies, University of Kelania, and a Master of Philosophy degree also from the University of Kelania. Bhante has also attended many international conferences and workshops in Sri Lanka. He has authored 4 books and published many journals on Buddhism for the academic fraternity. Today's topic is entitled Panna Paramita, the cultivation of wisdom. With that, we welcome Bhante Dhammarathana to deliver today's Dharma sermon. Bhante.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to talk about Panna Paramita. This is a paramita discussed in both Theravada and Mahayana traditions. In Theravada and Mahayana, this concept is stated as one of the paramita. So cultivation of wisdom, the development of Panna, or achieving wisdom, the highest knowledge, is something that we should achieve to get our enlightenment. So all the Buddhas, they have achieved Panna. As a result of that, they could attain the enlightenment. So Panna is something that should be developed as a paramita. On the other hand, all the followers, those who wish to attain Nibbana, can also cultivate Panna in different ways. So in this moment, I will show you, if somebody wishes to attain enlightenment, what to do, and if somebody wishes to attain Nibbana as an Arahant, what he or she should do. So Panna, it has stated in Buddhism as a gem. Panna Naranang Ratana. It is the gem of the man. It is the gem of the man. So we have to understand, in that sense, the value of Panna. If we have Panna, we can understand everything. We can understand the real nature of this world, we can understand what is Nibbana, what is enlightenment, what is the life, what is the meaning of life. Everything we can understand with this Panya. So Panya is very important to know and to discuss and to practice. Then what is the necessity of Panya? As you may have heard, the Buddha has stated, Panyavato ayandhammo nayandhammo duppanyasa. So Buddha directly has addressed intelligent people, wise people, those who have Panya. Panyavato ayandhammo nayandhammo duppanyasa. He says his teaching is only for the wise people, not for the foolish. So in this sense, we can understand how it is important to know the Panya. So we must try to cultivate Panya. In this life itself, if we could do that, we can get the highest result. Then when we are going to talk about the objectivity of Panya, we can understand the objectivity of Panya is to realize the reality. There is a reality, the reality of the world, the reality of the man or being, the reality of the samsara or the existence should have to understand. So the reality we should have to understand. To understand this reality, we need Panya. Then the next problem or the question that we have, we can suppose that we have Panya and also there is a reality. So how to combine these two? How do we realize the reality? What is the method? So Buddha has stated, if somebody wants to understand the reality, he should understand the theory of causality. In other words, dependent origination, paticca samuppada. So by understanding paticca samuppada, one can develop Panya. In other sense, if someone may have the Panya, he can understand paticca samuppada. So what is stated by the Buddha was Panyavatu ayandhammo nayandhammo duppanyasa. So this Panya, in that sense also, much more important, much more beneficial to understand the reality through paticca samuppada. Then there is no matter if the person could understand the paticca samuppada anyhow. But in Buddhism, there are methods, there are ways to understand this paticca samuppada. If somebody is not able to understand paticca samuppada just a moment, or when the Buddha is explaining, or when someone is explaining, or he himself may not be able to understand, in such a time, he can go before a person or enlightened one who know enlightened one or any other person who knows the Four Noble Chatu Arya Sacha. Then the person or the Buddha, he is explaining Chatu Arya Sacha. So you know, Chatu Arya Sacha means the Four Noble Truth. It is Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Magga. Suffering, cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So they are the Four Noble Truths. And the paticca samuppada means the theory of causality, where it has explained the 12 links. As you know, when ascetic Upali, the Ajivaka Upali met Asajitero. He asked about Asajitero's teacher. He asked, who is your teacher? At the moment, Asajitero explained his quality, the characteristics of his teacher. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava tesang hetun tathagato tesang chanirodo evam vadi mahasamam. In the meaning, it is nothing but the theory of causality. The theory of causality. It says the cause of origin and its cessation. Buddha knows the cause of origination. Buddha knows how it can be ceased. So that is the speciality of the Buddha. Having heard this statement, Upaka understood the Dhamma. Then we can understand how powerful the Panya, with reference to Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first discourse delivered by the Buddha after his enlightenment. Buddha taught Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta to the 5 ascetics. First, he explained the 2 extremes, and then he introduced the middle path. And finally, he explained the 4 noble truths. Interesting thing has been happened in that deliverance. What was that? When ascetic Kondanya, when ascetic Kondanya, listening to the explanation given by the Buddha or clarification on 4 noble truth, he has Yankinchi Samude Dhamman Sabbantang Nirodha Dhamman. If there is something that is originated, it would be ceased. So, while Buddha was explaining the 4 noble truth, he has realized Paticcasamuppada. Because of his wisdom, because of his Panya. So, it is very clear that according to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, ascetic Kondanya became the Sovan person, Arya Savaka, a noble person, by listening to the Buddha's teaching. So Buddha explained 4 noble truth and he realized Paticcasamuppada. So that is one way of understanding this Paticcasamuppada. For that we need Panya. Then there is another way, there is another method that we can achieve Panya, that is through Tilakkana, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, 3 characteristics of existence. It is also explaining the reality. So if we have Panya, we can understand this Tilakkana, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Having realized Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, he could understand Paticcasamuppada. That means he takes his realization. Then, if the person could not do that in that way, there is another way, that is Tivijja or Tevijja. Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana, Chutupapata Jnana, Asavakya Jnana. Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana means during the meditation, with the practice of meditation, they can have the trances. As a result of those trances, they can come into Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana. Through that jnana, they can read their previous lives. Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana. So he could call back, he could read his previous lives, previous existences. The next one, Chutupapata Jnana. When a person gets his death, he could see where he has born. So in that way, Chutupapata jnana, then Asavakya jnana. How do we eradicate the defilements? The way of eradicating the defilements. So those three knowledge comes into him as a result of Panya. So having those three knowledge, he realized Patisamuppada. That means he got the realization. Another way, Tisikka, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Threefold practices. By practicing these three, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, one can get the highest knowledge. One can understand this Paticcasamuppada. Sila means morality. He could practice precepts. While he is practicing precepts, he could concentrate his mind. When he comes to the concentration, he comes up with Panya. He could develop Panya. So that is also a way of developing Panya, cultivating the wisdom. However, as it is given in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, for all those who wish to attain Nibbana or realize the reality, should practice the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the practical aspect of Buddhism. By practicing these 8, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, he can come to the highest knowledge. He can come to the highest knowledge. Because after these 8 path factors, he achieved the trances, the 4 trances. First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. Having those jhanas, he comes to the next path factor, Samma Jnana. In Mahachattārisaka Sutta, it is given. So he comes to Samma Jnana. At the time, he would be able to realize the Paticcasamuppada. As a result of that, he achieved Samma Vimukti. So, when someone is practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, definitely he can become an Arya Savaka. According to the explanation given in Buddhism, with the 5th path factor, one can become an Arya Savaka. One can become an Arya Savaka. And then, at the end of the path, he comes to take other paths and fruits. Sakadagami, Anagami. So in this way, the Noble Eightfold Path reveals us that it is the path to get the cultivation of wisdom, Panya. Then there are 2 methods. While you are practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, there are 2 methods to get the realization, to develop or to cultivate wisdom. One way is through Chintamayi Panya. That means by the time you can improve, you can get a knowledge called Chintamayi Panya. Having thought, you can get that knowledge as a result of thinking. The next one is Sutamayi Panya. Sutamayi Panya. By listening to the others. By listening to the others, also you can get that knowledge. So there are 2 ways, Chintamayi Panya and Sutamayi Panya. We can discuss these 2 later on. Chintamayi Panya is nothing but the Yoniso Manasikara, reflecting oneself. And Sutamayi Panya means Parato Kosa, reflecting on others. So that means listening to the others. Now, We can move on to the Paramita. Sorry. In Theravada tradition, there are 10 paramitas, and in Mahayana tradition, there are 6 paramitas. The 10 paramitas given in Theravada are these: Dana, Sila, Nekam, Panya, Viriya, Kanti, Sacha, Aditthana, Metta, Upekha. So those are the 10 discussed in Theravada tradition. Not only in Theravada tradition, but also in Mahayana tradition, the paramitas are given. In Mahayana tradition, they have introduced 6 paramitas. Those are Dana, Sila, Shanti, Virya, Dhyana, Prajna. So you can see in these two traditions, Prajna, wisdom, is given. In Theravada tradition as the 4th, and Mahayana tradition as the 6th or last. In this way, the value of Panya has understood by these two major traditions, Theravada and Mahayana. So in Theravada tradition, it is Theravada means in Pali tradition, it has taken the term is taken as Panya, and in Mahayana, as it is the Sanskrit tradition, their language, as because their language is Sanskrit, it is Prajna. So Panya or Prajna means the wisdom, insight, intuition, transcendental idealism, knowledge, spiritual enlightenment. So in this way, there are different terms given to Panya, but most of the cases we take the term wisdom to explain Panya. Not only that, there are opposite terms to Panya. One is avidya, other one is moha or dusprajna. Avidya means ignorance, moha means delusion, dusprajna means non-wisdom. So in this way, prajna is defined for the sake of understanding. When we come to Mahayana tradition, in Lankavatara Sutra, Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, especially discussed prajna. And the teacher Acharya Nagarjuna also has explained the term prajna well. With the development of Madhyamika tradition, they have introduced emptiness, sunyata. So they say sunyata is the reality, is the thing that should be understood by the followers. So to understand sunyata, one needs prajna. So with the help of prajna, or in relation to sunyata, we can cultivate, we can develop prajna, or in other way, if we have prajna, we can understand sunyata, emptiness. What is emptiness? It is something between absolute existence and non-existence. It is neither existence nor non-existence. It is no destruction, no production, no discontinuity, no permanence, no utility, no diversity, no appearance, no disappearance. So it is something between existence and non-existence. So that should be understood with the help of the theory of causality. To understand that, we need Panya. In Lankavatara Sutra, the Prajna is defined like in this way: everything exists relatively and contingently, but nothing exists absolutely. So that is what given in Lankavatara Sutra. And also in Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, it says there are tricks And sometimes it may be we can as a tricks we can take falsehood. So trickery and falsehood are permitted in Mahayana tradition. When we are coming into Theravada tradition, in our tradition, it is given sammaprayoga. But here, the wisdom should be highlighted. Wisdom should be highlighted. In Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, with the help of the parable of the burning house, it has explained how prajna is coming into the mind, or how prajna is operating in the man. In that parable, there is an old man. When he is coming to a house, children are playing inside, but the house has set fire. So the house is burning. Then the old man explained, "Dear children, please come out. Your house is burning." But children did not listen, did not understand that one. Then the old person he says, "Dear children, I have toys. I have a bullock cart. Please come out the house and take this." Then all the children come out the house and rescue their life. So to rescue the life, to protect the life of the children, the old man had to use a tricks. So in that way, with the help of tricks, we can help the people, we can serve the nation, we can serve the people. So in Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, trickery and falsehood are permitted. When we are coming to Theravada tradition, the opposite term of prajna is given as avidya. Avidya means ignorance. According to Abhidhamma tradition, the text Dhammasangini explains what is this avidya. Avidya is lack of knowledge about the noble truth. If the person may not have the knowledge on noble truth, the Four Noble Truth, he has avidya. That means he doesn't have sammaditthi, the first path factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. So, to achieve that knowledge, or achieve the wisdom, we should practice something. We should practice something what is revealed in both traditions, whether in Theravada or whether in Mahayana. If we have avidya, at least we could not get sammaditthi. On the other hand, the term Panna is given in many places, especially in early Buddhism. With the fundamental teachings, Panna is given. In Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Buddha has revealed the 37 dharmas of enlightenment. In that explanation, among the 37 dharmas, there are two things: 5 Indriya dharmas and 5 Bala dharmas. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panna. Saddha Indriya, Sati Indriya, Viriya Indriya, Samadhi Indriya, Panna Indriya. So Panna is given as an Indriya. Then as a Bala also given. Saddha Bala. In that way, up to Panna Bala. So Panna, as it is given in 37 dharmas of enlightenment, in one sense it is a faculty. On the other hand, it is a power. Not only that, in Tisikka, Panna is found. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. As the third, it is given. Third means the last. By practicing Sila, he comes to concentration, Samadhi, and then he comes to Panya. So Sila, Samadhi, Panya. So in Trisikka and among 37 dharmas of enlightenment, Panya is found. When we are going to talk about Panya, according to Theravada Abhidhamma, there are two things that we should have to understand with the help of Panya, because each and every phenomena has two types of characteristics. Two types of characteristics. One is called general, the other one is called special. So there are two characteristics, general characteristics and special characteristics. General characteristics is nothing but tilakkana, anicca, dukkha, anatta. But special characteristics are quite different. That means each and every phenomena has its own nature. So with the help of Panya, the person should have to understand that. According to Nama Dharma, in the commentary it says, Namana Lakkana Nama. Namana Lakkana. Namana Lakkana means bending. It's the nature of bending. So Nama Dharmas, they have that nature. Then Rupana Lakkanam Rupam. The characteristics of the special characteristics of the Rupas are molesting. So those dhammas are molesting. So the nature of Rupana should have to understand. So that is the special characteristics. So in this way, so whether it's a Nama Dharma, whether it's a Rupa Dharma, they have their own characteristics. With the wisdom or with Panya, we have to understand that. Then there are two other ways we have to understand the nature of dharmas. One is lakkana, characteristics. Then rasa, function. Pachupattana, the nature. And padattana, how it comes to be, the proximate cause. So the lakkana means that we have to understand the two nature, the general characteristics and the special characteristics of the Dhamma. And under rasa, we have to identify the function of each and every Dhamma. For example, we have to understand the function of water, function of earth in that way. Then when it comes to Lakkana, we have to understand the nature of earth, the special characteristics of earth, or the special characteristics of water, in earth, water, fire, and air. Right? Then Pachupattana, the nature, right? The manifestation. Then Padattana, how it comes to be, the proximate cause, should have to understand. So in this way, one can improve his knowledge on the Dhamma, knowledge on the characteristics of the Dhamma, the nature of the Dhamma, function of the Dhamma, and how it comes to be. So especially through the meditation, when he is going to understand these qualities or nature, he comes to realization. He comes to the highest knowledge. That means he is having Panya. Then in Theravada tradition, there are three methods or three ways of cultivating wisdom. One is Chintamayi Panya, reflection on oneself or reflecting oneself. The next one is Sutamayi Panya, listening, paying attention toward the others. And the third, Bhavanamayi Panya, by practicing meditation. Chintamaya Panya means Yoniso Manasikara. We can understand the nature of the world, nature of the phenomenon, nature of the material and immaterial things by reflecting oneself. That is called Chintamaya Panya. Sutamaya Panya means for that task we have to go to meet a teacher, or we have to read books, we have to come to a discussion. In that way, by following those methods, listening, discussing, or by reading, we can come to the understanding. That is called Paratogosa. It is Sutamayi Panya. Then Bhavanamayi Panya, it is by meditation. So there are different methods of practicing meditation. Those are those are very different. It easily can be separated into two, samatha and vipassana. By practicing samatha meditation, you can come to the concentration, and then with the help of vipassana, you can understand the reality of the world at the time. Your wisdom is developing. At the time, you can cultivate wisdom. Then we can easily find few benefits of panya. Few benefits of panya. If someone has panya, he could realize the theory of causality. If somebody may have wisdom, he can understand the theory of causality. He can understand the Four Noble Truth. Then he can practice the 37 dharmas of enlightenment. And having the Sammaditthi, he can practice the Noble Eightfold Path, Aryavatangiko Magga. Not only that, while he is cultivating wisdom, his spirituality is automatically developed. As a result of that, he does not expect mundane pleasure. He does not explain any material thing, but he expects supramundane pleasure. Then, having understood the reality, he tries to eradicate the defilements step by step. That is because of his panya. So he tries his best to eradicate the defilements. Not only that, there are hidden defilements. They are quite sleeping. They are not coming out. They are not activated. They activate timely. So those timely activated defilements can be managed. They are named as anusaya. So there are 6 anusayas: raga anusaya, patiga anusaya, bhava anusaya, avidya anusaya, mana anusaya, vichikicha anusaya, dittha anusaya. So all those usually are hidden. Even though they are hidden, according to the time and situation, they come out. They would be activated. If the person has wisdom, or if he is a particular person who is with panya, he can manage not to arise these anusaya dhamma. He can suppress them. He can manage them. That is because of panya. Then the people usually practice precepts expecting something else, but if the person has panya, understanding the reality, he practices the precepts. He does not expect anything else. He expects what to do, and he does what should not do. Then the next one is generosity, dana. He is practicing dana. Most of the cases, people offer dana expecting something. But the one who has panya offer everything without expecting anything else. Not only that, your mundane life is also a pleasurable one. As it is given in Patta Kama Sutta, there are duties that should have to be performed by you. So all the duties you perform well because you have panya, you have wisdom. So in this way, there are number of benefits that you can achieve in this life itself also. So if the person he has panya, his mundane life is also a pleasurable one, and his supramundane life is also a pleasurable one, and he could easily achieve that supramundane step. In Theravada tradition, Panya as a perfection is explained in many Jataka stories. In many Jataka stories, so here there are few Jataka stories where the Panya is mentioned, like Devadharma Jataka, Kundala Pandita Jataka, Rajuvada Jataka. In that way, there are Jatakas where we could find Panya, or how Bodhisattva has practiced Panya in his previous lives as a Bodhisattva. Now, when we are going to understand how to achieve Panya, up to now, as we have discussed, there are two methods. One method is Yoniso Manasikara, reflecting by oneself. The other one is Parato Gosa, reflecting others. So this realization can be achieved by those through two ways. As you know, with the help of theory of causality, that means Yoniso Manasikara, you yourself should have to understand. So ye dhamma yetu pabhava te sanyetum tathagato asa, as it was realized by Venerable Sariputta, or the ascetic, the Upaka Ajivaka, and the realization of Four Noble Truth. At the time, Kondanya realized Paticcasamuppada. By realizing the Four Noble Truth, he understood the Paticcasamuppada. He understood what he has understood, Yankinji Samudaya Dhamma, Sabbantam Nirodha Dhamma. So in that way, the person can come to the realization. Not only that, as it is given in Chanki Sutra, there is a path, there is a method. We can get Chintamaya Panya and Sutamaya Panya in the same process. The process is given here. The first, you need Saddha, faith. The next, Upasankamati. You should approach to the teacher. That means you should find the teacher. Pairupasati. Then you should associate the teacher. So having faith, you went to meet a teacher, and there you associate the teacher. And sotang otati, you paid your attention. Then you listen to the Dhamma. Then having listened to the Dhamma, you are finding the meaning. Attam uparikkati. Finding the meaning means Yoniso Manasikara. Then Dhammang dhareti. You are memorizing the Dhamma. Memorizing. Then after memorization, the process is after Sotang Odhati, Odita Soto Dhammang Sunati. From listening to the Dhamma, and then you are coming to Parato Gosa, because you are Dhammang Sunati. Then Dhammang Dhareti. After listening, you are keeping in mind. So Dhammang Sunati means Parato Gosa, and Attam Uparikati means Yoniso Manasikara. So in that way, by following the path, following the process, you can come to the Panya. Panya echanang ativijja passati. Finally, you can understand Panya, the highest knowledge. So as we have discussed, there are different process, different methods of understanding this Panya. By the time you can eradicate all the defilements, nivaranas, then Anusaya, Kilesa, and Akusala Mula. And when we are going to cultivate Panya, you can practice Paticcasamuppada, Chaturya Sacha, Tilakkana, Tivijja, Bodhipakya Dhamma, then Chattaro Brahmavihara, and Tilakkana. So when you are going to practice those, automatically Panya is cultivating. Then as we have discussed, it is the Noble Eightfold Path. And then you can get Chintamaya Panya, Sutamaya Panya, Bhavanamaya Panya. With that way also, you can come to the cultivation of Panya. Then the next way is having the qualities. Pubbecha Kata Punyata, you have merits accumulated previously. Patirupadesa Vasa, you should be staying in the relevant area, suitable area. Then Kalyana Mittata, you should find suitable friends, good friends. Then you should practice morality, Aryakanti Sila, precepts. Well, uh, then you could do all those only you are well mentally and physically. If you are not physically and mentally, you could not do that. So mental and physical fitness is important. Then as a result of that, you can caring and sharing everything with your family members. So when you are doing as it is mentioned in Pattakama Sutta, automatically you could develop, cultivate Panya. Then with the help of Saddha, you can develop Panya finally. While you are practicing caring and sharing, right? As you are living a family life, you are having a family life, you can get this. So at the moment, while you are performing your day-to-day activities with your family members, you would be able to produce Chattaro Brahmavihara. So by practicing Chattaro Brahmavihara, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha, you definitely can achieve Panya so easily. So that is the most easiest way of achieving Panya. And then you should try to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is the conclusion of the Panya Paramita, the perfection of wisdom. So I think you may be able to understand what is this. So this is the time for the discussion. So if you may have any question, we can have those question and we can answer them.
Thank you, Bhante, for the excellent sharing. Here it seems that we have several questions posted online for us. We'll put it up on screen for Bhante and everyone to view it. Our audiences are welcome to post additional questions under our Facebook comment sections.
The question is here, how can we apply wisdom to guide or avoid people who frequently want to convert us to their religion without hurting their feeling? I think quite interesting question. So as it is given both in Theravada and Mahayana, we can use several tricks to get that. We can ask them to study Buddhism, study the Four Noble Truth, study the Paticcasamuppada, then automatically they may understand the reality. They may understand the reality. So we should not ask them to come to the temple, worship the Buddha, but we can ask them to read and try to understand the reality of the world. Then having understanding the reality of the world, they can become the wise people. So even though they are not becoming the Buddhist, but they can get that knowledge up to some extent. The problem is if they have wrong understanding or michaditi, wrong view, then it is not quite possible. But having understood the reality, they can understand even the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the value of triple gem. In that way, they can embrace Buddhism. The next question: what happens when we have wisdom without compassion? Will we be reluctant to guide or help others to achieve their spiritual or worldly goals? Will we become arrogant or selfish? Without compassion. The problem is whether we can practice wisdom without compassion is something discussed further. The problem is that when the person is going to have the wisdom, at the moment he has developed compassion also. Metta, karuna, mudita, upeksha. Upekha. Four sublime abodes. So it is quite unusual to practice without compassion. I think there is a barrier of practicing that one without that one. Will we be reluctant to guide or help others to achieve their spiritual or worldly goals? Will we become arrogant or selfish? Yeah, in that sense, you become selfish, or we become arrogant. But don't worry, if you have cultivated panya, you automatically practice metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. So you have compassion. You have to show the compassion. Sometimes you may not depict your compassion through your face or through your activities, but the purpose, with your purpose, there is compassion. So the level of wisdom in Theravada and Mahayana, is it the same? The problem in Theravada tradition, mostly it is highlighted to attain enlightenment. According to Theravada tradition, there is only one Buddha for a period of time, one particular period. But in Mahayana tradition, there are thousands and thousands of Buddhas. According to the Mahayana sense, their wisdom is the highest. It is the highest. But in Theravada tradition, it is not so higher as it is mentioned in Mahayana tradition, especially in Saddharma Pundarika Sutra. So the thing that we have to understand, in Theravada tradition, the wisdom is given to attain three bodhis. If you wish to attain Buddhahood, you can. Then Pacheka Buddha, individual Buddha, you can. Then Arahanthood. So according to Theravada tradition, it is the most easiest task. Having understood on one line of a stanza, having understood one line of a stanza, no need to understand the 4 lines of the stanza. Having understood one line of the stanza, like Yankincha Samudaya Dhammam Sabbanta Nirodhamma, or like Rajoharanam. Right? In that way, you can easily realize the reality according to Theravada sense, but according to Mahayana sense, it is not so easy. It is so difficult to attain according to Mahayana tradition. If we lead a spiritual life, which is more important to our spiritual development, wisdom or compassion? If we lead a spiritual life, if you are leading a spiritual life, automatically you have developed wisdom. So if you have the wisdom, you have the greatest compassion. As far as you have cultivated wisdom, That means so far you have cultivated the compassion. So the thing is that sometimes we have compassion, but because he is my mother, he is my father, he is my friends, in that way, right? So thinking that she is my mother, because she is my mother, and because he is my father. So considering the relation, sometimes because he is a friend. So in that way, a particular particular li- limit. There's a limit of showing our compassion, but with the development of wisdom, your limitation is not shortened into such a time, such a with such relatives or with those friends only. So you can develop to far away from. So that means for all the living beings, those who are in the world, knowledge is from outside, wisdom from inside. Hmm. Is there any connection between the two? Yes, definitely there is a connection. Knowledge is something that we should have to take by reading, by understanding, sorry, by reading and by uh, uh, listening, right? With the help of the sources, we can get the knowledge, maybe the knowledge on different uh, schools of Buddhism, different philosophies, right? Different religions, right? And science, in that way, right? It is a subjectual knowledge. So knowledge is something that comes as a result of uh, the way we are referring, the way we are reading. But wisdom, it is something spirit coming inside. That means it is something automatically coming out, right? But it should have to practice with within our previous lives also, right? It is not something just the moment we can achieve, right? But nowadays, if we are becoming a human being, fortunately we are the human beings. Thing is that most of the human beings, they have panya up to some extent. So uh, it anyhow it is inside, and knowledge is something that comes from outside. We can accept that idea. How can we use our wisdom to guide those who are in suffering, pain, sick, and dying to obtain good rebirth? That's a good question. How do we use our wisdom? That means first we have to understand the situation of the person, the situation of the patient, right? Having understood his situation, we have to discuss with him. We have to discuss with him, because there are things he is not he doesn't like to leave it, right? There are things that he expect to get. First of all, we have to understand that one. Having understood his idea, his view, step by step, we should try to follow that. I think the best discourse to do that is uh, Dhananjani Sutta. Dhananjani Sutta. If you could read Dhananjani Sutta, I think you can get much more knowledge how Venerable Sariputta brings him to the Brahma world. So Dhananjani was a sick person. Venerable Sariputta uh, takes him to the Brahma world. So after the death of the Dhananjani, he went to the Brahma world. So by the way, we can explain that one. But the thing is that we have to understand the situation of the person. Why is Pachek or silent Buddha reluctant to preach or spread the Dhamma, since he has so much wisdom? That is because it is, though he has Panya, he is not able to explain that one. It means all the people, uh, they cannot do that. That is because they could not practice paramitas well, right? Uh, they, that means according to Theravada tradition, Paramita should be practiced 3 times: Parami, Upaparami, Paramatta Parami. Right? In those 3 ways, if the person has practiced Paramita, only he could attain the enlightenment and also explain the Dhamma. That means the supreme enlightenment. Individual enlightenment is something that comes because he could not practice perfections well. So that's that. Can chanting a mantra helps us to develop wisdom? Chanting a mantra, for the question, we can pay our attention to the story where it has explaining Rajuharana Chullapantaka Thera was doing that with using of like a handkerchief or a piece of cloth. According to the guidance given by the Buddha, he was doing that. It is one can say it is a type of chanting, but behind the chanting, there was a reality. There was a reality. So through at the time of chanting, his chanting, he recognized what happened to the cloth. So that cloth timely becomes ugly, dirty. So he realized the reality. So if there is, it is not matter if the chanting or the stanza can produce wisdom. If the stanza can produce the wisdom, by chanting also you can attain the wisdom. But at the time of chanting, you should come to the realization. Otherwise, reality cannot be achieved. Is there any question?
Okay, Bhante, that's about all the questions we have for today. Thanks for the excellent reply and answer from our speaker, Bhante Dhammarathana, and equally good questions posted by our audiences. Okay. A kind reminder that, dear Dhamma friends, our next Dhamma sharing will be on this coming Sunday, 19th of July 2020 at 8:30 p.m. by Bhante M. Piyaratana Thera from Sri Lanka. With the topic Viriya Paramita, the cultivation of energy or effort. So Dhamma friends, do remember to join us again this coming Sunday. So before we conclude, we would like to invite Bhante Dhammarathana to share the merits accrued today with all the devas and our departed loved ones.
Akasatcha Bummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Lokasasanang Akasatcha Bummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Dhammadesanang Akasatcha Bummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Tvam Sada Idammi Nyati Nango Sukita Huntu Nyatyo Idango Nyati Nango Sukita Huntu Nyatyo Idango Nyati Nango Sukita Huntu Nyatyo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Now we have come to the end of our Dhamma sharing today. On behalf of Buddhist Mahavihara, we would like to take this opportunity to extend our highest thanks to Bhante Dhammarathana and also to our generous sponsor and to all our dedicated audiences. May all be well, peaceful and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
May the Triple Gem bless you. Sadhu, sadhu.